Barron Trump stepped onto the plane, his signature Maga hat perched proudly on his head. It was supposed to be a simple flight, just a trip back home. But he had no idea that a single piece of clothing would turn his day upside down. Passengers murmured as he walked down the aisle. Some whispered, others just stared. Barron, used to being in the spotlight, ignored it. He took his window seat, put in his earbuds, and stared out at the tarmac. Then it started. A flight attendant approached with a forced smile. "Sir, we need to ask you to remove your hat." Barron looked up, confused. "Excuse me." "Some passengers are uncomfortable," she continued, glancing at a middle-aged woman across the aisle who had been glaring at him since he boarded. Barron sighed. "I'm just sitting here. I'm not bothering anyone." The woman suddenly snapped. "This is offensive. He shouldn't be allowed on this flight if he's going to wear that." The murmurs turned into outright tension. Some passengers sided with the woman, while others looked annoyed at the unnecessary drama. Barron, keeping his cool, asked, "Are you really kicking me off for a hat?" The flight attendant hesitated, then whispered, "You have to go." Barron stood up, shaking his head in disbelief. Cameras flashed as people recorded, capturing every second of the unfolding chaos. Little did he know, this wasn't just about him. This moment was about to change someone else's life forever. As Barron stepped off the plane, frustration boiled inside him. He wasn't angry, just disappointed. How could a simple hat cause this much division? He made his way to the nearest lounge, pulling out his phone to call his security team for a new flight. But just as he was about to dial, a soft voice caught his attention. "Hey, I saw what happened." He turned to see the same woman who had demanded he be kicked off the plane. She looked uncomfortable, as if struggling to find the right words. Barron crossed his arms. "Yeah? And?" She hesitated. I want to apologize." That was the last thing he expected to hear. She continued, "I got caught up in my emotions. I've been dealing with a lot lately. My daughter, she's sick. And I guess I took it out on you." Barron blinked, the anger fading from his face. He could see the pain in her eyes. This wasn't about politics anymore. This was about something deeper. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Barron did something that stunned her. He sat down next to her. "What's going on with your daughter?" he asked, his voice calm and sincere. And just like that, an unexpected conversation began, one that would lead to a life-changing moment. The woman took a deep breath before speaking. "Her name is Lily," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "She's 6 years old. She has leukemia." Barron felt a weight settle in his chest. A 6-year-old girl fighting for her life. The woman continued, her hands trembling. "We've been in and out of hospitals for the past year. Treatments, bills, doctors. It's been endless. And today, I was flying to a specialist to beg for another treatment option, one that I can't even afford." Barron sat there, stunned. This woman had just gotten him kicked off a plane, yet he couldn't help but feel for her. She wasn't a bad person, just a mother drowning in desperation. "I guess when I saw you, she hesitated, looking ashamed. "I lashed out. You seemed like everything my life wasn't. Rich, privileged, untouchable." Barron shook his head. "I get it. People see the Trump name and assume they know me. But trust me, privilege doesn't protect anyone from pain. My family's been through its own storms." For the first time, the woman met his eyes. "I'm sorry." Barron nodded. "Apology accepted. But more importantly, how can I help?" She blinked. "What?" "I mean it. What can I do for Lily?" Barron asked, his expression serious. The woman opened her mouth, then closed it. She had no words, but Barron already had an idea forming in his mind, one that would change everything. Barron pulled out his phone and began typing. The woman watched in confusion. "What are you doing?" "Rebooking your flight," Barron said casually. "First class. You're going to that specialist." Her jaw dropped. "No, I can't accept that." "You can," Barron said firmly, "and you will." Before she could argue, Barron dialed a number. "Hey, it's Barron. I need a favor. Big one. Within minutes, his team arranged a new flight, hotel accommodations, and even transportation for the woman, all expenses covered. Tears welled up in her eyes. "I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything," Barron replied. "Just get Lily the help she needs." The woman broke down, covering her face with her hands. Passengers who had been watching the earlier confrontation were now witnessing something entirely different. The same flight attendant who had kicked Barron off approached. "Sir, I just wanted to say—" But Barron just smiled. "No hard feelings. Just doing what I can." What happened next would turn this moment into a viral sensation. As the woman boarded her new flight, she still couldn't believe what had just happened. One moment, she was on the verge of missing the most important trip of her life. The next, Barron Trump had stepped in and changed everything. But outside the plane, something else was happening. A young journalist who had been in the terminal witnessed the entire confrontation and secretly recorded it on his phone. He knew this wasn't just another airport dispute. This was a story. With a few quick taps on his phone, he uploaded the footage to Twitter. Barron Trump kicked off a plane for wearing a Maga hat. What he did next will shock you. At first, the post got a few likes, then a few retweets. But then, like wildfire, it spread. The video was everywhere. It hit 100,000 views within 30 minutes, 1 million views within 2 hours. By midnight, it was the #1 trending topic worldwide. Social media exploded. "I never thought I'd say this, but Barron Trump just earned my respect." This is the kind of story we need right now. Compassion greater than politics. Say what you want about the Trumps, but this kid has class. Even celebrities and political figures weighed in. Elon Musk tweeted, "Now this is how you make an impact. Respect, Barron." Taylor Swift posted, "No matter what side you're on, kindness wins." News headlines the next morning were everywhere. Barron Trump's unexpected act of kindness goes viral. From controversy to compassion, the airport story that's inspiring millions. Barron Trump proves that one good deed can change everything. But as much as the world was talking, Barron hadn't said a word. He sat alone in his room, scrolling through the endless messages. He had never intended for this to be a viral moment. He just did what felt right. And yet, he had no idea just how far his kindness would reach. Months had passed since that night at the airport, and while the world had moved on to new headlines, one person would never forget what Barron Trump had done. It was an ordinary morning when Barron received an unexpected package with no return address. His assistant placed it on his desk, giving him a curious look. "Looks personal," she said. Barron wasn't sure what to expect. Carefully, he unwrapped the package and found a handwritten letter inside. The paper was slightly crumpled, as if someone had held it tightly before finally letting it go. As he began reading, he immediately recognized the handwriting. "Dear Barron, you probably don't remember me, but I will never forget you. That night at the airport, you saw me when no one else did. You could have ignored me like the others, but instead, you chose to help. Because of you, I made it to the hospital in time. My daughter got the treatment she needed. And today, after months of prayers, she is in remission. You didn't just give me a plane ticket, you gave me my daughter's life back. Forever grateful, Lisa and Lily." Barron sat still for a moment, the weight of those words sinking in. He never expected anything in return. He hadn't thought much about it after that night, other than wondering if the woman had made it in time. Now here was his answer, but there was something else inside the package, a photo. It was of Lily, the little girl he had unknowingly helped save. She stood in a park smiling, holding up a sign. The sign read, "Thank you, Barron." She was wearing a red hat, but not a Maga hat. Instead, it had 2 simple words embroidered on the front. "Kindness first." Barron exhaled, staring at the picture. For all the political noise, the headlines, the debates and division, at the end of the day, this was what truly mattered. One small act of kindness had made all the difference. And in that moment, Barron Trump realized something. The world didn't need more arguments. It didn't need more division. It needed more moments like this.